But a clear and present danger exists right now in the Gulf of Mexico, a clear and present danger to my home state of Florida. Mr. President, I have come to the floor almost every day over the past week while we've been in session to talk about the need for the federal government to have a more robust response in preventing this oil from coming ashore. Unfortunately, Mr. President, the situation has gotten worse. In a report this morning that I saw by Mark Potter on television, the oil now is coming ashore in Pensacola in a way that is profoundly worse than it has been. As he described it, it's oil as far as the eye can see. And watching those pristine white beaches covered in brown splotches of oil this morning, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart for what it's going to mean for the people of Northwest Florida, what it's going to mean for the environment. But it breaks my heart even more still because I think a lot of this could have been prevented. Many members of this body, as well as the one down the hall, have been asking for weeks, where is the federal response? Where are the skimmers off of our coast to suck up this oil before it gets on our beaches, into our waterways, and into our estuaries? I have been, frankly, Mr. President, extremely frustrated with the response from this government. Now, someone like me believes that the federal government should not be involved in all aspects of our life. But what the government does, the government should do well. And one thing the federal government should do, and should be uniquely qualified to do, is help in the time of a disaster. But in this circumstance, the government has fallen far short. One thing that has been very frustrating to me is trying to determine, Mr. President, how many skimmers are in fact off the coast of Florida. Skimmers are these vessels which are equipped to suck the oil off of the water, bring it onto a place where it can be contained and disposed of, and get that oil out of the ocean. As of yesterday, we found out that there were 20 skimmers off the coast of Florida, plus an additional 5 skimmers that the state of Florida went out on its own and rented. When I met with the President a week ago yesterday in Pensacola, I raised the issue with him, why are there not more resources stopping this oil from coming ashore? Admiral Allen, who was at that meeting, the head of the response, the former commandant of the Coast Guard, told us that there are 2,000 skimmers in the United States. Why are there only 20 off of Florida? As I've asked the Coast Guard and even the Navy, why are there not more skimmers? I've come to find out we can't even determine how many skimmers there are. So the state of Florida, as of yesterday, in their Deepwater Horizon incident report, shows 20. We know that an additional 5 were rented. The federal government's report, the National Incident Command report, says there are 108 skimmers. We asked the federal government, the Coast Guard, why is this number different than the number that the State Incident Command reports? We can't get a good answer. And when we drill down on this 108, last week we were told, well, that number really isn't correct. In follow-up, and having met with the Navy yesterday and the Coast Guard, and I want to thank Secretary Mabus for making the Navy and the Coast Guard available to us to talk to them about this issue, we got a more detailed response of skimmers that the Coast Guard reports are off the coast of Florida, and now the number appears to be 86. So we have the state telling us 25, we have the incident report from the federal government saying 108, and now the Coast Guard says it's 86. We just can't get a straight answer. And it gets to the base of the problem is we don't really know what we're doing down there in the Gulf of Mexico. The federal government is not putting the focus and attention on this issue that it should be.